Yeah, I mean, this matchup, it's, it has a lot less to do with the weapon loadouts here. It has a lot more to do with player skill, right? And that's really what's going to shine in this matchup. And whichever player is better on the day here is going to see victory. That's, just kind of how it goes. It's not, this isn't one of those matchups where it's like you can say for certain that it's over in assembly, right? I mean, it really comes down to how these players are going to play here out on Xylem. But ladies and gentlemen, we've got one of our last losers bracket games here. Player in this goes on to top four. GreyNand versus Disco. Let's get ready to rock and roll, folks.
Absolutely, and I did misspeak there. It is not a Kurosawa. It is in fact an aperitif launcher. So 3 missiles plus the coral shield is going to come out, or plus plus I apologize. The jamming launcher is going to come out for Disco. So very very mobile play style here.
Yeah,
We'll be
Real
watching.
Plasma's there, looking for a lot of that chip damage, right? Aperitif's obviously for the pressure when Disco does, or I'm sorry, when GreyNand does look for those all-ins. But Disco here, I mean, obviously going to be looking to play very, very, very passively here. But it seems GreyNand's having a little trouble tracking him here. Disco knows he has that slight AP lead and is going to try and soak that one up, so to speak. So.
Well, just about a minute in and just a little bit of chip damage done. And hey, if he can hide for the rest of the game, I mean, he's going to win. I hate to say it, but that's a win condition, you know? So if he wants to play that way, it's within his rights.
Yep, I think GreyNand's got him here, though. Now, does see the smoke blast there. Is going to be looking for something here. Disco just immediately going to be assault boosting away. That is the right call here. Obviously, not looking to get in GreyNand's face at all. That is not where you want to be against a double Zimmerman user, so playing to his strengths here effectively. Plasma Launcher is going to come out, a little more chip damage added. That is kind of the benefit of running these really, really kitey builds with those plasma missiles. That extra damage that you get out of them is useful, but GreyNand going to lose sight of Disco there. Just going to zoom right on by him.
I do have to call out Darth Pepper, or formerly Immel, in the chat, calling this mech by daylight. It really does feel like that. You got a hunter, and you have someone who's trying to get away. But goodness me, I tell you what, the hunter isn't nearly as damaging as those aperitifs if you get on the wrong side of them sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just looking for a nice assault boost here. Going to be looking for maybe a little bit of damage if he can find it. Needs to kind of keep up, though, with Disco. Going to be a little hard. He doesn't really have the inside track here. And Disco just boosting away very, very fast here on this biped, and really utilizing his movement here effectively. Grey's just having a real hard time catching up to him here. Needs to try to find angles where he can catch him. Needs to not lose sight of him here as well in these buildings, as we're seeing Disco's really getting the better of it. Needs to make sure he's utilizing that scan effectively and is tracking Disco this entire time.
And I'm wondering if it might be worth, he's been very, very patient with his usage of the Zimmermans, but I'm wondering if it might be worth taking a little bit more of a longer range shot just to get some chip damage out there, knowing that the opponent's already going to be running away, potentially doing a little bit. We saw Blend was doing that, and it ended up making a significant difference throughout the course of the entire game. But with 10 seconds left, it looks like GreyNand will be taking this first loss very, very quickly.
Yeah, Disco just, utilizing his movement here effectively, and GreyNand just... Well, here in round 1 just doesn't seem to be up to the task of being able to track him and stay on him. I don't know if it's an energy issue. I don't know if it's just that Disco's, just that fast, right? But, I'm not sure if the smoke, like the smoke grenade launcher, the disruption, we'll call it like an EN disruption maybe, if that causes like loss of tracking on scan, or loss of identification, I should say, on scan. If that is the case, then maybe that is kind of contributing to some of these, loss of sight issues that we're seeing in this matchup, but we'll have to see. I think GreyNand might have him here. You're going to see the salvo come out here. GreyNand going to be looking to try and get away from that. We'll use the Coral Shield to some effect there to try and block some of that additional damage. But right now, just not able to get eyes on him. And Disco just zooming across the other side of the map here.
Yeah.
As soon as GreyNand gets above him, he's just out of there. He's gone.
Absolutely, that speed there. Also, the internal combustion engine giving a lot of recovery there. I'll be interested to see if GreyNand takes this to heart and decides to ban Xylem for the next round, knowing that this is so flexible here. Now, that would of course open him up to either Dunes or Bertram, but you know what? That might be worth it in his eyes.
Yeah. I mean, right now with the play that we're seeing here on Xylem, he's just not able to effectively track him. There's so many buildings for him to be able to get lost in. So maybe a Xylem ban is kind of what is needed or called for here, because this build only excels if you're able to effectively assault boost into your opponent here, which we're just not unfortunately seeing from GreyNand. So I think a map ban in this case is probably warranted, to try and set him up for some more success if he decides to stick with this build. We know this build can get the better of your opponents, but it really just comes down to movement. It comes down to identification, and right now, I mean, Disco just really coming out on top on this one.
He's just being patient, and the patience is killer here. He did finally get found out, or I guess I don't even know if he got found out so much as he, was revealed himself just to get a little bit more chip damage here.
Yeah, he's just taking that opportunity, and right back across the map he goes. It's, it's just very, very difficult here. And again, this makes me wonder if maybe it's maybe there's an EN issue or a booster issue. I'm not really sure. But he's on him now. He's getting really close. If he can try and keep him in the follow here, he might be able to look for a Zimmer shot, but Disco just very, very quick. He needs to stay on him here. GreyNand cannot lose this. He needs to find that extra damage here to try and tilt this in his favor. Look for the Zimmers, not going to find the angle.
Nope, doesn't even get the chip damage off.
Yep, good assault boost usage there from Disco, able to avoid the Zimmer shots and just keeping himself at distance here. He knows it's close, he knows it's tight, he needs to play this perfectly here.
Oh, double Zimmer shot.
Oh, just not going to be enough. Just not going to be enough right now. You can tell now your Disco really kind of feeling the pressure. He knows that GreyNand's right on his tail here. Just trying to run the timer out, trying to get the distance. Will be able to do it, I think, here effectively, and that's going to be round 2. Over to Disco here. Match 1 going in his favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And one small thing to note about this particular build that he's bringing, he did bring assault armor along with him. So he's expecting to get in real close.
Yeah, that's true. That's very interesting. We'll have to see if it works out for him. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, round 2. Disco and our good old boy GreyNand.
All right, we will be going ahead and spectating on the stream GreyNand here with the bloody chrome, which I'm not gonna lie to you, that is a really cool setup. I love the paint scheme. I love the reflectivity of it, and we'll see how these coral weapons, these coral missiles are going to get on. See if we can get a lot of damage here, get those impact shots in, and potentially get a stagger off, allowing those laser rifles to maybe get charged up. I don't know. Hyper aggression here from GreyNand coming in. The coral missiles are in the air. It's going to be up to Disco to run away. They are getting very, very close, and he does get to avoid that. However, takes a shot from those double plasma missiles, gets stunned, drops down to 50% HP. GreyNand only at 80, or only dropping down 20%. This has been immediately, without a doubt, a critical change here from GreyNand. GreyNand, though, is very, very close to getting stunned here. If they can stay away from those missiles, potentially let that drop down a little bit. Very interesting to see how that gets on there. The coral missile is locked up. We know that the plasma missiles are dodged here. Interesting. Yeah,
I mean, I 100% agree though. The missiles on his back give him a little bit of additional counterplay here. And right now, as it stands, Disco needs to take the onus on him to find opportunities to chip away at GreyNand's bar, which requires him to get a little bit closer than maybe he would prefer or like to, which then puts him in range of those plasma rifles. And we just see it, that chip damage continuing to come out here. GreyNand, nice little dodge there, avoids a lot of that plasma damage. Looks for now some additional laser shots over the middle of the bonus dunes. It's going to get a little extra damage off, but nothing really to write home about here. Again, though, Disco really pressure's on him here.
Yep,
it's going to be right in front of him.
For the chase, all right, the jammer makes it work. Going around the side, trying to cut off his opponent here. Looks like, did we miss the coral, or did that go through the jamming cloud? I think that might have gone through the jamming cloud and lost his lock there.
Possibly. GreyNand, though, here, still looking, trying to find him. Keeps losing sight of him here. He needs to make sure that he's keeping effective tracking and motion and movement here on Disco. Otherwise, this matchup is just going to be really, really frustrating for him. Those health bars, though, getting really close now. Slowly moving in Disco's favor. He needs to look for opportunities to be aggressive, I think, with those laser rifles and get that additional damage off.
I would even make the argument that perhaps his focus should be staying alive right now. He does have a relatively significant lead with only 25 seconds left in the round here. And while he has been taking a little bit of worse for wear for the engagements recently, he's still ahead rather significantly.
Yeah, he's looking for that kill shot here, I think. Looking for some damage. Will duck down back behind the dunes there to avoid the aperitifs. Does have a healthy lead here. Should be good to go. This should be this first round in match 2 going his way, ladies and gentlemen. And GreyNand gonna shut this one out nice and early here. Makes it nice and easy.
Yeah, Emil, you're absolutely right. The use of the cover here, you know, as it stands there, doing a very good job of keeping those aperitif missiles from doing what they would normally do, which is essentially chunk you down, stun you, and then you take a huge amount of damage from those plasmas. So, well done to him. Well done to Disco, too, for really coming back at the end of that round, bringing a lot of damage to the table here, despite the fact that, you know, he can't really get in too close with GreyNand's build and those heavy-duty laser rifles. So,
indeed, indeed. It'd kind of be interesting, though, to see, you know, if GreyNand can continue to keep the pressure up in this round 2. And if he pulls this to a game 3, I'd be very, very interested to see what kind of change, if any, Disco makes. But right now, health bar's relatively the same. Those coral missiles always providing ever-present danger to Disco. Has to be very, very careful about that. GreyNand here, though, going to be a little bit aggressive there, looking for some additional laser shots. I don't think much really lands, but again, health bar is very, very close here, just barely skewed in GreyNand's favor. But right now, these players, you know, fighting for their tournament lives in loser bracket. GreyNand especially here has to pull out some victories in this round 2.
So it does look like Disco may have lost his opponent. GreyNand was being very patient, watched his opponent fly over that way, knows that he's coming in. So when is he going to pop up? When is he going to make use of that? And oh, there's the plasma missiles. He can see it. All right. Let's loose with the Pop-Tart. Let's loose the coral missile.
Yeah, might be looking for some laser damage here, looking for some shots. Not going to really find much here, though. HP bars really remaining the same.
Perhaps a little bit of chip damage coming in from those plasma missiles on both sides, but I think it's been equivalent both sides. As I say that, though, Disco does take the AP lead here. Just a little bit more than GreyNand. It's probably less than a single shot from either player to flip that back and forth right now.
Yeah, I mean, some minute damage here really changes it, and there we see it. You know, plasmas land for GreyNand. AP lead goes in his favor. Plasmas land for Disco. AP lead goes in his favor. It's just very, very close right now. Both these players know they're playing on a knife's edge.
Yeah, bad position from GreyNand, but he does make beautiful use of the assault boost to get away from those aperitifs that are going to come try and take him down a notch here. Shots coming in from the plasma.
Yep, going to hit both players here, though. Looking for some laser shots from the rifles. Will not find any, though. These players have to play very carefully here. Good movement, though, from Disco to be able to avoid those plasma blasts. Yep. Needs to try and find something, though.
Yeah, GreyNand does take that health lead back just a little bit.
Yep, still has it in his favor here. 20 seconds to go.
Copy,
he can take this.
Ooh, hyper aggressive.
If he can take this.
Relatively from Disco. He does take a little bit of damage, and he does take the AP lead with 10 seconds left. He has to go now if he's going to do anything at all. Those lasers are going to go in, and if he can possibly get it, 3 seconds left. He takes it. He takes it.
The assault armor, though, for the counter, and that's going to be in Disco's favor. Oh, he had it. He had it for a split second there, and then the last second assault armor from Disco puts the AP lead back in his favor, forces round 3 here, or match 3, round 3, I'm sorry, in match 2. Jeez, I mean, it's, you know, I hope people can really appreciate this. I mean, it's literally one micro mistake, right, can completely turn the tides of these matches, and that's what makes it so exciting to watch.
Absolutely. I know people have said, hey, you know, this missile stuff is boring, but holy cow, I think this is incredible. Like, the players are being very, very aggressive. There's no place to hide, really. Like, you can only go so far, and then the rest of it is all movement and technique and figuring out where they need to go, where their opponent is, and how they're going to cut them off or get away. All right, let's see. So we have the coral missile chasing Disco. Oh, that looks like it's very close. The assault armor from both players coming out. 60% of health for Disco. GreyNand definitely taking the better side of that engagement. Running away now, potentially recognizing that there might be little value for him right there in that position. Getting a better opportunity to potentially run away from the aperitifs. The aperitifs will be coming at him from below. Now he can get into the crater, avoid them. Coral missile comes out, still going after Disco. Disco down to about 50% HP. Looks like he took a big chunk of damage from that coral missile there, and still only 10% loss, excuse me, for GreyNand.
Yeah, GreyNand here sitting nice and sound in the driver's seat here in this round, looking like he might be able to force out a match 3 here. And the Coral Missile's gonna land there. It's gonna be huge damage in the knockout. That's gonna be it. GreyNand forcing game 3 now. Disco, you're up, sir. What's your response? We want to know. But very decisive round 3. Yeah, he's gonna be looking for that quick recharge to get additional assault boosts and try to stay away. And the problem that I think you might have here is that with the I think he's running Coral and Wurzels on the on GreyNand's build. I have to take a look again, but
I think you're right. I think you're right.
yeah, I think he might just be able to close the distance easier with his build, and he might actually get more utilization out of his lasers in his hands here.
Oh no, he's not using the Brazils. He's using the Coral Generator, but not the Brazils. He's using, oh shoot, I don't even remember what it's called, but it has an extremely high thrust, vertical thrust.
Yeah, it's interesting here. I would think that the AB boost thrusters, Wurzels, would be potentially a better matchup here for him. But, well, I mean, we'll have to see here. It's just you really want to look and try to find that laser damage to kind of make a build like this work. You need that extra additional chip damage.
Absolutely. It does look like that build is making a significant difference here. GreyNand down to about 66%. Disco only losing 5 to 10% here. And those Coral Missiles just being avoided by pure force of will.
Yeah, I mean, it is very, very fast on this build. It's really, really difficult and hard to catch. I think that might be the difference maker here, honestly. It's just really, really hard to make use and get good use out of the actual Coral Missile Launcher itself when your opponent is literally traversing the entire map in a couple boosts.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, tries to go in for the kick here.
Yeah, a little cheeky kick there. Tries to look for it. Can't quite find it.
Down to 50%.
Yeah.
Disco's only taking minor chip damage. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, he's putting on a masterclass, right? It's just really, really good movement. Just fast, hard to catch, you know, knows the strengths of his build and knows the weaknesses of his opponent's build here, and is capitalizing on it pretty perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, right, the build changes that he made may seem subtle, but they're enough to absolutely change this tide in his favor. Those vertical change for the horizontal, the aperitif remains the same, but then also having that 4-stack hand missile doing a lot of chip damage there. GreyNand down to about 10% HP. Disco does take a bit of damage, but not enough to really put him in any sort of concern here.
Yeah, I think that was. I think it might have been either a Coral Missile or a laser charge shot that landed, but at the end of the day, there, Disco gonna be sitting pretty here, gonna be on match point.
Excellent, very, very interesting to see. Let's see how GreyNand is going to respond. I know there's always kind of that short learning curve. I know these players may have played it before, but when they're used to something else, it will take that little bit to, switch in your brain.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, AC6, every single matchup you go into, you might have played it 100 times, but every opponent you play is going to play that matchup a little bit differently. And there's always kind of this learning curve, right? Of, okay, how do I play this matchup this round? And the ability and speed to be able to adjust to that build really, really, really matters. And right now, GreyNand going to take a big stagger there. And quite a bit of damage here. Just can't seem to find the shots landing here onto Disco. He's just not getting a whole lot of use out of those plasma rifles in his hands. Disco is just constantly keeping himself out of range. The Coral Missile just cannot catch up to its target. And, he's got 1 plasma to Disco's 2. So, it just makes it really, really difficult for him to find the damage if he's not within effective range of his laser rifles. And we're seeing that reflective in the AP bars.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's got to be frustrating too. You're looking at the potentially last round. You got 1 minute 50 seconds left. You're low on the AP, but you know what? You got to take the opportunities when they arrive. And I don't know. That Coral Missile just does not seem to be cutting it. And it's a huge investment, too. It's a huge investment in the energy recovery. It's a huge investment in terms of the damage itself. And maybe even that, maybe a double plasma would have been better for this, because we have gotten most of that chip damage is actually coming from that vertical plasma launcher. Yeah,
no, 100%. We had the 1 stagger, probably attributed to the quad missiles in the hands. But other than that, it's just, plasma chip, run, plasma chip, and run. And it's just effective. I mean, it's just a very, very effective way of kind of playing this type of build. A lot of people like to make arguments that plasma missiles aren't as good as regular shoulder missiles, but you know, when you have a build this fast and you're able to take game 3 like that, really kind of puts the nail in the coffin there. Disco going to be moving on.